What's going on, people? Um, there has been this very interesting idea going around about the PS4 Pro as of late. And that's that the PS4 Pro is a gimmick. And how interesting it is how the install base of Sony fans are quick to forget what intentionally motivated Sony to create the PS4 Pro. How quick the install base is to forget the main focal point of the Pro. How quick, 1 year after the PS4 Pro, how quick it is that people just idly up and forget what Sony made the PS4 Pro for, because once you start remembering why this thing exists, you start to realize, fuck, it's more than possible the PS4 Pro is just that, a gimmick machine. What did it do within its first year? What exactly did the PS4 Pro accomplish? It had very poor, piss poor sales numbers in comparison to everything else. Okay? Think about that. The physical support of the PS4 Pro brought to you by the developers of games, not only third party support, but as much as their own physical first party games, was just as poor, making this machine almost irrelevant within its first physical year. Now, when you take into account that alone, and I know what you're going to say, that's not true. Games like Horizon Zero Dawn are PS4 Pro compatible, and I'm not talking about Horizon. That is a newer game. Newer games are Pro enhanced. I'm talking about all first party games. How many games do you honestly think are PS4 Pro enhanced? It's not as many as you would like to say. Nor is it all first party titles, which is very fucking odd to me. You would at least think Sony, in all their infinite glory, a lot of you seem to think they have, would want to make sure that all first party titles are PS4 Pro enhanced, yet a lot of them fall by the wayside. That's pretty fucking weird. Not every PS4 Pro enhanced game is a first party game. Hell, not a lot of first party games are Pro enhanced. The newer titles are. And here's a little bit of information that I know a lot of you are very sour about. A lot of the newer games that are coming out that are third party titles, which means they're shared between Sony and Xbox, are going to look better and are looking better on the Xbox One X. Now, I have a base model PS4 and I have a Xbox One Slim. Now, I don't give a damn what the game looks like as long as it's playable, okay? But I find it funny when people start arguing over the Pro and the X. Because the Pro, and this is where I get into the whole gimmick behind it, the Pro was never designed with all this woo 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 people touting bullshit behind it. If we remember correctly, when Sony announced it, they even went out of their way as far as to say this machine isn't for everybody. Do you remember that statement? Cutting off a lot of sales. Sony said this machine isn't for everybody. Hell, Microsoft said the same fucking thing about the Xbox One X. This machine isn't for everybody. It's only for those hardcore Sony fans, which led me to believe it was for those, what do you call those really fanboy Sony people? Fucking Sony ponies or some weird shit? I don't know. I don't even know what you call Xbox fanboys. I've heard like Xbots or some weird shit like that. It's fucking weird. But anyway, I thought that's the group of people they were trying to reach. And then they threw another curveball at their press conference when they announced it over a year ago. The PS4 Pro's initial reason for existence. Are you ready for this? Because this is why it's a gimmick. VR. VR. The only reason PS4 exists with the Pro on the end of that, the Pro model exists, is VR. If you remember correctly, PlayStation's press conference announcing that system was all about the launch of PSVR. Okay, they focused a little bit on how, yes, the games are going to look a little better and how they're going to have 4K, but it's not real 4K. It's, you know, doing hopscotch tricks and magic wands and Harry Potter playing with your asshole to get 4K, but it's not real. And then the real reason behind it was so you could get the most out of the VR headset. Now, it wasn't required. It was just an option that if you wanted to experience the most out of the VR headset, you could buy the Pro and get the fullest, best looking, and greatest experience you could get. That's why the PS4 Pro exists. That right there, when they did that, they pretty much cemented the Pro as a gimmick. Had they not done that, had they not went that route, the Pro could have been taken as a legitimate piece of hardware. Because look at how little the developers support the fucking thing. Look at how, again, they leave it up to the developers to make these games Pro enhanced or Xbox One X enhanced. But look at how little, they've had a year. They had a full year before the Xbox One X came out. Look how little support the Pro has gotten from just the developers in general. They had a full year. Only the newer games were getting Pro enhanced, and it was only a select few at best. And then you had its first party titles from Sony, which there are a lot more first party titles from Sony than Xbox ever could dream right now, and not even every single one of them made the cut. How could you think in any part of your brain that the PS4 Pro was to be taken serious when those things happen? And I know people out there want to defend this thing tooth and nail. But you can't take a machine that serious when those kind of flaws exist. See what I'm saying? It would be different if I was able to go, hey man, every first party game since 2013 and the PS4 launched is Pro enhanced. The problem is that's not the case. The problem is Sony, when they launched the Pro, went out of their way to make sure they denounced the Pro at the launch, saying it's not for everybody. They went out of their way to make sure to say you want this machine for the most experience with VR. They made sure to push VR with it, making it an add-on pretty much, not a necessity to have, making this thing a gimmick. You can say what you want to try to defend it. I'm not saying you shouldn't have bought it if you did. I'm just saying that more than likely if you see one of those articles, they're more than likely right. Because if they wanted to, at Sony, if they wanted to say this wasn't, they have a long library of first party games, and not every one of them is PS4 Pro enhanced. Why? Why would you not go back and make sure all of those games get enhanced for the PS4 Pro? Why would you, before the fucking thing launches, crush the sales for the Pro when everybody's super excited? Why would you make sure to fucking sell as little as possible? Why? What would be the point of that? You see what I'm saying? And then why? What would be the point of going, oh yeah, and by the way, another reason to buy this thing is for VR? Why? What's the point of that? It's a VR. First of all, VR is very gimmicky. What's the point? There is none, unless the main reason to have that machine, which you're talking about VR, and VR being gimmicky, is for the gimmick part to have an add-on for the gimmick. See what I'm saying? So, if you're mad about articles like this, you have to realize the PS4 Pro, overall, and the way Sony handles it, is very gimmicky. They didn't go back and they didn't fix it at launch. They didn't say we're going to postpone it. They didn't say give it a couple months. They didn't say we'll wait a while. No. They launched it. They launched it at a very underwhelming, wow factor. They didn't try to wow anybody. It was very underwhelming. And yes, it's a gimmick. As much as people don't want to admit it, the most impressive thing that I've seen when I talk to people about it is they're more impressed with the fucking controller. You know, the PS4 controller? Yeah, they're more impressed with the advancements in the controller part than anything else. Okay? So, I know that's probably the worst thing you can hear, and I know it's coming from me, but again, I'm the guy who has to say what a lot of people are afraid to. Because, I don't know. I really don't. Anyway, this is one of two videos going up tonight. I'm going to make the second one right now, and I will see you guys later. Deuces.